Welcome to Wildlife Third Grade Worksheet lesson number 17. And to start off, we're going to be writing the time. And the shorter hand indicates the hours, while the longer hand indicates the minutes. So, looking at this first example, number 1, we see that the hours hand is in between 12 and 1. And since it's not with 1 yet, we know that our time is 12. And for minutes, we see that it is above the 9 before 10, and it is 1, 2 after 9. And we all know that 9 is 45, so 45 plus 2 is 7. So our answer for number 1 is 12:47. Number 2, we're doing the same thing. Here you see that our hand is between 4 and 5, so we know that our answer is 4 for the hours. And for the minutes, we see that it's between 7 and 8, and it's 1, 2, 3 minutes after 7, and 7 is 35, so 35 plus 3 is 38. So our answer for number 2 is 4:38. Number 4, same thing again. Here we see that 9 is between 9 and 10, so we know that our hours are 9. And then we see that for the minutes, it's directly at 3, and 3 is 15. So our answer for 4 is 9:15. And our last example for this page, here we see that our hours hand is between 8 and 9, so we know that our hours is at 8. And the minutes hand is in between 9 and 10, and we can just count how many there is again. We go 1, 2, 3. So there's 3 minutes after 9, which means 45 plus 3, and that gets us 8:48. On this next page, we're rewriting the time once again. So looking at number 7, here we see that our hours hand is between 5 and 6, so we know that our hours is at 5. For the minutes, we see that the minutes is directly on 5, which we know is 25. So our answer for number 7 is 5:25. For number 8, here we see that the hours clock is directly on 10, so that tells us that our hours is at 10 o'clock. And to find the minutes, we see that it's 2 after 12, and 12 always means 0, so 0 plus 2 is just 2. So our answer for 8 is 10:02. For number 10, here we have our minutes hand, or hours hand, between 3 and 4. So now the hours is at 3. And then for our minutes hand, we see that it's 1 before 10. When we know that 10 is 50, so 50 minus 1 is 49. So our answer for number 10 is 3:49. In our last example for this page, here we have the hours hand between 6 and 7, so we know that our hours is at 6. The minutes hand is 1, 2, 3 minutes after 5. So 5 is 25, so 25 plus 3 equals 28. And so our answer for number 11 is 6:28. For this page, we find the missing numbers. And basically, we know that in one day, there are 24 hours. And so we're trying to find how many hours are in 3 days. And so the way we can find this out is we can do 24 times 3. Because there are 24 hours in a day, and there's 3 days. So 4 times 3 is 12, so we put a 2 down here, carry the 1 over. 2 times 3 is 6, so we'll add the 1, so we get 7. And so our answer for number 1 is 72 hours. For number 2, it's the same thing this time, but instead we're trying to find out how many days are in 3 weeks. So we know that there are 7 days in a week, and we have 3 weeks, so we can just do 7 times 3, which is equal to 7 plus 7 plus 7, and that gets us 21. So 3 weeks is equal to 21 days. For number 3, we're doing the same thing again, but this time it's years and months, and it's trying to find how many months are in 4 years. And we know that in every year there are 12 months, so we have to do 4 times 12, and that gets us 48. So our answer for number 3 is 48 months. For number 4, it's the same as number 2, but this time we have 5 weeks instead of 3 weeks. So instead of just doing 5 times 3 or 7 times 3, we have to do 7 times 5. And 7 times 5 is equal to 35. So our answer for number 4 is 35 days. For our word problems, number 1, Jenny went on a trip for 1 week and 6 days. She left on May 13th. When did Jenny return? So the easiest way we can go by in solving this first problem is converting the weeks and days into all just days. So we know that 1 week is 7 days, and then 7 plus 6 is equal to 13. And since she left on May 13th, all we have to do is just add 13 to 13, and that gets us 26. So we know that she returned on May 26th. For number 2, the tennis game started at 12:15 p.m. and it ended at 2:35 p.m. What is the lapse time? So the easiest way we can go by this is first calculating how many hours passed. So the easiest way is I like to go from 12:15 to 1:15, which is exactly 1 hour. So we go from 12:15 to 1:15, and that's 1 hour right now. So I'll put 60 minutes. I'll just put 60, and then from 1:15 to 2:15, that's another hour, and so I'll add another 60 right here. And then from 12:15 to 12:35, we can just do 35 minus 15. That gets us 20. So we can just add 20 right here. And so 60 plus 60 is 120, plus 20 is 140, and 140 minutes is equal to 2 hours and 20 min.